cafeteria to get to those chicken tenders. So, not the first time I've seen an incident of people going crazy over food. I saw many incidents where people would cut the line. I even saw a few incidents where some people would get violent over these chicken tenders, which was absolutely ridiculous to me. But I try not to question those type of things in some instances because in some people's cases, you honestly never know if that is the only solid meal that they're going to have for the day. Sometimes you just don't know. But with that being said, whether it's the chicken tenders from my high school, whether it's the Popeyes Chicken Sandwich, no matter what it is, it's not worth it for you to get violent and volatile and chaotic and take someone's life over something that you feel is that important or materialistic. I shouldn't even call this stuff materialistic, but it is what it is at this point. And when you have instances where people are having their lives taken, you have some domestic incidents that may even take place here with woman versus man, man versus woman, whatever the case may be there, over things like this. You know, there's something that has to be done to try to prevent any measures with this going forward. And you spoke about Popeye's management, and you know, they should be called into question here. Because even though Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, Scott, I've never heard of an incident of people going to Chick-fil-A and acting like hooligans. I've never seen that. I've never heard of an incident of people going to Chick-fil-A and acting like this.
Yeah, that does seem a little far-fetched, doesn't it? Yeah, it I don't know. Maybe is it the way the restaurant's set up? One appears to be more of a fast food versus a dining, the way it's set up. All the Popeyes I have seem like there's a different type of socioeconomic difference between one versus the other. I mean, when I go to a Chick-fil-A, what I see at a Chick-fil-A is I see a kid's playground in there it's more of a family thing, whereas Popeyes looks like it's just over the counter, a few seats in there, then all of a sudden you're going nuts. You know what I mean? Where you have the playground effect. Even McDonald's and Burger King, with their playgrounds, appear to be a little bit safer than what Popeyes does. Think about that for a minute before you say anything. Think about it.
Well, I'm not sure if I would put McDonald's into play there.
Well, I don't know.
Burger King, possibly. McDonald's, I've seen and heard many different incidents of crazy things happening at McDonald's as well. Maybe not necessarily a murder, but lots of different cases of where people will argue, people will fight, and I've even heard incidents of where people will throw their food back at the employees if things get that serious.
Yeah, but come on, so Xavier, hold on.
Things about McDonald's.
Yeah, you're talking fast food. What do you expect? You know, we're not talking fine dining here. I mean, McDonald's, my brother years ago was a manager there, and I'm with you, but some of these places that had these little playgrounds in there, you know what I mean, to do what they do, I get what you're saying. I don't think personally, I don't even eat fast food anymore. I really don't. Outside of maybe Subway, which I like eating there. Wendy's I go to a lot. Chick-fil-A I go to. PDQ once in a blue moon. But you got to think of the animal that you're dealing with, you know. And fast food is fast food. That means that people don't want to sit there very long, want to state your case and blow, you know. That's all there is to it. But they got these playgrounds. I mean, they're trying to go out there, use as a diversion for kids. Do you follow what I'm saying? Just to kind of keep them mentally preoccupied. And, you know, we're not talking fine dining here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that incidents don't happen over at McDonald's. They happen everywhere. It also depends on the area that you're in, too. If you're in I'm not saying you don't have violence everywhere from the higher class suburbs to some of the low rent district places, Xavier. I get that. But, you know, some areas attract more arrogant individuals than others. You know what I mean?
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that. But to go back to the Chick-fil-A point there.
Sure.
Even though fast food is not fine dining, I will say that Chick-fil-A may be the closest thing to fast food that people may consider some form of fine dining.
Well, sure, they're expensive.
Is in the place of where where I would say is fine dining fast food. There's Chick-fil-A, there's Zaxby's.
Right.
You mentioned Subway. Jersey Mike's is another place for me in particular.
Right.
But something that's also just different about Chick-fil-A is simply just how they presented themselves and how they represent themselves and the beliefs that they practice in that restaurant. They're really about the Christian faith, and they put themselves out there with that. And they represent themselves much differently than any other fast food restaurant out there. That could also play a huge role into why they avoid having certain foolish things take place there.
I've never met a Chick-fil-A employee that was ever rude. Scary thought. I mean, but remember this too, Xavier. Chick-fil-A is expensive compared to some of these other joints. People that don't have, they don't have that value meal for like $1 or $2. Not that I know of. There might be certain inexpensive items on Chick-fil-A, but that place is expensive. They have they have their app on there where you accumulate things like any good business would, but that food isn't something that you're going to eat every day. You better have a big checkbook if you're going to eat at Chick-fil-A 5 to 7 days a week, because it's expensive compared to the other ones.
Yes, this is true. I definitely agree with you on that.
But I've never met.
It explains why someone like a Joel Embiid is probably one of the few people who can afford to go on a full-out Chick-fil-A diet.
Well, they got the grilled nuggets, too, which are really great. But the point is you know what? I've never met a rude Chick-fil-A employee. Never, up to this point. I'm not saying that there's bad eggs out there, but my pleasure. Is there anything we can do? They're always coming around there trying to help you out. It's a good restaurant. It really, really, really is. But again, when you talk about the physical appearance of a Popeyes versus Chick-fil-A, be like comparing a dog and a cat. Xavier, is really what it is. You follow me? Okay, that's what it is. You have a counter. I can't imagine what your seating capacity at Popeyes is compared to Chick-fil-A. I haven't seen. Imagine there's not more than 30 or 40 people at a Popeyes where you have an over-the-counter operation versus Chick-fil-A where you can probably put 100, 200 people in there. That says a lot by itself, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I'll say this, Scott. There's only one incident in my life where I remember actually sitting down and eating inside of a Popeyes. So it's truly the definition of fast food. It's like I'll go there, I'll get what I have to get, and I'll leave, and I'll take it back to wherever destination I'm going to.
Right.
I've had a lot more scenarios where I'm actually sitting down in Chick-fil-A. So I agree with you on all of this.
Right. Hey, listen, I'm glad that you brought up the Popeyes thing over a chicken sandwich. I'm glad that when people go to this show and they hashtag chicken sandwich, okay, that is certainly a unique, different idea that we need to bring to the forefront. We have to, whether we like the news or not. It does happen. People certainly become more aware of these sort of things. Maybe who knows if we saved anybody's life, what does it take to have a line out the door over at Popeyes? You tell me. Not much, is it?
No, it doesn't. And here's another thing I'll say to people as well. Listen, if it's so serious that you have to have chicken sandwiches, or if you crave them so much or they're one of your favorite things, I know this isn't necessarily something that everybody likes to do, but why don't you learn how to make and cook your own chicken sandwiches? You can save a lot more money doing that and have a lot more chicken sandwiches than just one that you're going to pay between $3 to $5 for.
Well,
that's just a thought.
That ain't no thought that's resonating with me, buddy, because I don't know how to make them, and I'll be lucky to get a frozen meal out, stick, nuke it, man. I have no problem going to the freezer section, get my chicken sandwich, and that's what they call a microwave, man. You follow me? But, yeah, I will tell you one thing. To me, it isn't worth dying over a chicken sandwich. It just isn't. Do you know any more about the suspect in this situation at all?
No, I do not. I haven't heard any more information about this story from yesterday. I'm sure more details will continue to unfold, but, I can only imagine what his time is going to be like, because he will go behind bars for an incident of this case, and I don't expect the judge to have any mercy for him. And when his fellow inmates find out what it is that he is in jail for, they will have no mercy on him either.
I agree. Oh, yeah. That's true. Over a chicken sandwich. I mean, who knows what these inmates, when they find out that a new prisoner goes in there, what they've got, and when you get in that environment where the people working in the jail treat you like, you know what, and then the inmates get wind of you. Oh, Nelly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, think about it. We're talking about Subway. We have a guy named Jared Fogle who's been beat up pretty good over in Subway because of what happened with all his transgressions with the sexual abusing of, his abuse. And he's been roughed up pretty good, too. I mean, that's just too crazy. Maybe one of these days we'll have to go ahead and do a show on the best chicken sandwiches out there, although I think we've touched on it pretty good. So here, you know what?
We'll definitely have more scenarios where we'll have lighter topics where we can do things like that. Because like I said, I wanted that to actually be the subject matter for tonight.
Right.
But when you have something of this magnitude and something this serious and something this ridiculous and senseless that takes place,
right,
it takes precedent over everything else.
I agree. No debate. How many times have I ever told you when you come up with an idea that I'll ever turn it down?
It doesn't happen.
And won't either. Because you know what? I've known you well enough and long enough to realize that if you're going to bring something up to me, you had to think this thing through for us to even talk about it. And there'll be some ideas that I feel I'm going to go ahead on this program and bring to the forefront like we did with our Dynamo Concrete Angel, because I just found out today that one of my wife's employees downloaded that song Concrete Angel because they thought it was that strong. So, you just have to look at things from an overall standpoint, what the message is. Because there was a saying before you were born. You ever heard of Marshall McLuhan?
No, I have not.
Well, it was way before your time when the media was what it was. Only the privilege got in there instead of everybody. But he said the medium is the message. That was the first thing I learned in mass communications is what it was. And when I tell you that the medium is the message, I don't think Marshall McLuhan ever thought it would ever be anything like this. If he's buried, he'd turn over his grave. If he's cremated, those ashes must be sending a certain dander about what's become of this industry. If, and because of social media, social media is really other than the fact that you actually work at a station, how much do you really watch the local news?
If I was not working at a station, I probably would not be watching. Just simply because I know what a good portion of the local news is going to cover, especially the A and the B block.
Right. Yeah, and many years ago I worked for television stations too, so I know exactly what their intention is. I mean, and that's just the unfortunate world we live in. Facebook to me has become a way for people to go ahead and learn about local news, and it just blows me away the type of stuff that's out there. So, I don't know. So, folks, if you're thinking about this show, we're not talking about Popeye the Sailor Man where you're eating spinach. We're talking about Popeyes Chicken Sandwich, which cost an individual's life over an act that was totally avoidable by somebody cutting in front of somebody just because the sandwich, he wanted it that bad. Scary thought, isn't it?
It definitely is. And, Scott, all we can simply say is we as a people and we as society, we have to do better. But, it's up to everybody else